Taking off this list, number 10 is Doja Cat. She was cancelled earlier this year in May after some things from her past resurfaced and people started to call her racist. This was not the first time that people have tried to cancel her. She was actually slammed in 2018 for using a slur, but an apology allowed people to get over it. But this time around, people were not so forgiving and started a trending hashtag Doja is over party. It happened after videos surfaced of Doja participating in a video chat where they used racist language. But an old song of hers also resurfaced, and in it she used racist language that targeted at victims of police brutality. With everything going on with the Black Lives Matter movement, people called her racist and have refused to accept her apology this time. It's not looking too good. Next up at number 9 is Lea Michele. The Glee star, who definitely looks sweet and innocent on the outside, faced a lot of heat after one of her co-stars claimed she was racist towards her. One of her Glee castmates, Samantha Marie Ware, said she had made comments about her wig and even said that she would go to the bathroom in it, is the proper way of saying it, and number 2 at that. Some of Lea's brand partners dropped her after these allegations surfaced, including the brand HelloFresh, who released a public statement. Lea did issue an apology and said that her comments were always a joke and that she never meant to hurt anyone. People were also really bothered more recently after her co-star Naya Rivera tragically died and she didn't comment or share a tribute for her. She posted a photo of Naya to her Instagram story with no comment, and we all know a story only lasts 24 hours, so people were both surprised and disappointed in this. Moving on to number 8 is Taylor Selfridge. The MTV star was fired from her show Teen Mom OG after racist comments she made in the past came to surface. In June, it was announced that the network cut ties with her and cancelled her upcoming baby special that she was going to be having with her boyfriend Corey and their newborn baby. Screenshots had surfaced showing some of her past tweets which were racist towards African Americans and Asians. One of them said, "Father's Day, the most confusing day in the ghetto." Taylor did apologize and said she was just young and stupid and that her past does not define who she is as a person today. She also claims that she chose to walk away from the MTV show, but MTV has said that they fired her. So. Sliding into number 7 is Shane Dawson. The YouTuber landed himself in the center of controversy after new accusations came forward and old footage showed him being very inappropriate and making racist comments. One of the most controversial pieces of footage that surfaced was a video of Shane making inappropriate gestures and comments about a poster of Willow Smith, who was only 11 years old at the time in the poster. Everything escalated very quickly and other celebrities got involved, and YouTube actually made the decision to demonetize Shane's YouTube channels, all 3 of them, so that he is unable to make any money off any of his content. He posted a video 2 months ago where he issued an apology and took responsibility for his actions, and he has not posted anything ever since then. He's been keeping pretty quiet for a while now on all his social media platforms. Coming into number 6 is Amanda Bynes. The actress has been struggling for a while, and we first started to realize it in 2010 when she retired from acting when it seemed like it was at the highest point of her career. Reports revealed she had multiple DUI charges and her tweets started to get very erratic and completely inappropriate. Her fans learned that she was struggling with an alcohol and drug addiction and was also dealing with a lot of mental health issues. She has been in and out of treatment centers for years now, and in 2018 she got clean and announced that she was going to make a comeback and return to acting. Fans were thrilled. I was so excited. But then we never saw her in anything until she popped back up on social media with a face tattoo, a septum piercing, and news that she was engaged. However, just 3 weeks after that, her and her new fiance split and reports announced that she was back in a treatment center. Halfway through at number 5, we have Amber Heard. If you've been following the $50 million lawsuit between her and Johnny Depp, then you would understand why she is on this list. In all honesty, it really depends who wins this lawsuit and how it's going to affect both of their careers, but some pretty messed up evidence has surfaced showing Amber in a very bad light. After she made legal claims against him saying that he beat her and faking bruises on her face, audio recordings captured her admitting that she made up those claims and that no one was going to believe his side of the story. Like, she literally says that. She said that she was going to take him for all of his money. But the lawsuit is filled with a lot of really disturbing and strange claims against one another. We're still waiting for a final outcome. But people are already attacking her online, and they even started a petition to have her fired from the movie Aquaman 2. And it has hundreds of thousands of signatures. Like a lot. Like 500,000, I think. Rolling into number 4 is Lindsay Lohan. She was once one of the biggest actors in Hollywood, but her whole life changed when she was sentenced to 90 days in jail after a DUI charge. It was her violation of her probation after the DUI charge that ultimately landed her behind bars. Since then, her career has never been the same, and she left Hollywood to move to Dubai, where paparazzi is illegal and she could live more of a private life. Fans were thrilled in 2019 when she announced she had her own MTV reality show all about her beach club in Mykonos. The show was called Lindsay Lohan's Beach Club and was cancelled after just one season after the club itself shut down. She spoke about it and said, "The show was moving into a new direction, perhaps not enough drama in my life for reality TV formula, and that's not where I am in life." Fans were really excited to see her make a comeback, but then she didn't really have a comeback. In the third spot is Danny Masterson. You probably know him as Hyde from the hit TV series That 70s Show. After that series ended, he found success for starring on the Netflix series called The Ranch, where he co-starred alongside Ashton Kutcher once again. But he lost everything after allegations surfaced accusing him of sexual misconduct and He's very involved in the Scientology church, so he was protected by the church for a while, but then the Me Too movement brought everything to light. Netflix ended up announcing in December 2017 that he was fired from the show. As for the allegations, he was arrested in June 2020, pretty recently, after being charged for 3 women in separate incidents between 2001 to 2003. His bail is set to $3.3 million, and he could face up to 45 years to life in prison if convicted. In spot number 2 is Ellen DeGeneres. The comedian and talk show host is under some serious fire right now after people started to claim she mistreated employees at her studio. The claims got so intense that her show and its staff members are all being investigated right now. 2 of the show's co-executive producers were accused of sexual harassment, and during the investigation they were fired from the show even though they personally denied the claims. Former employees and her past bodyguards have come forward with claims saying that she made sexist remarks, racist remarks, and did not allow medical leaves or her staff to attend family funerals, which is pretty illegal, I think. Ellen is denying these claims but still apologizes for anyone who had a bad experience working with her. The investigation is still ongoing, but there are rumors that her show could get cancelled. Then what? I love her show. In the number 1 spot is Britney Spears. A worldwide campaign has broke out all over the internet called #FreeBritney. After strange behavior on social media and documents revealed online, people are very worried for her because her dad has legal control over her financial assets and her personal life. For the last 12 years, her father has had legal conservatorship over her and her assets, and he actually has control to restrict her from visitors, her career decisions, her money, and apparently even her social media posts. Her sister, Jamie Lynn Spears, came forward and is now asking that all the assets of the SJB Revocable Trust be moved into 1 or more accounts with Fidelity Brokerage Services, which she controls. Her sister also spoke on social media about Britney's mental health struggles and is hoping that she can help her. As for Britney's music career, she kind of talks about it here and there on social media, and she said that there are no plans to perform again as of right now. Kicking off our countdown at number 10 is Drake Bell. Everything seemed good in the hood for the actor until his ex-girlfriend came forward on TikTok and claimed she was abused by him during their relationship. The singer, Jimmy Ono, said that he both emotionally and physically abused her and that she opened up about it because it is her story to tell. She told her story along with old photos of them and captioned the TikTok, "This is my truth. I hope this message reaches young girls and that no one has to go through what I did. #2020 survivor." She said it started with verbal abuse but then turned physical and he would hit her and throw things at her. She also claimed that he was dating underage girls. Very serious accusations, especially for a TikTok. Drake denied all of these allegations, but the majority of people were choosing to believe the alleged victim, which doesn't really put his career or reputation in a good position. That'd be my biggest fear as a celebrity. Someone coming out with like false claims. Not that I'm saying it's false, but like if it was and ruins your entire career. Up next, number 9 is Eugenia Cooney. Her story is not a gossip story where she did something and now she's getting cancelled. Her story is actually very different and very serious. The YouTuber suddenly disappeared from the platform in February 2019 and went away to treatment for a severe eating disorder. She ended up coming back later that year in July, where she talked about her recovery and how she will be returning to YouTube. Ever since then, she has continued to create videos and it looked like she was doing a lot better. Honestly, I watched her videos and she looked much healthier. But recently, people have been raising concerns over her new videos because she's starting to look as thin as she used to, and people think that she may have relapsed. People are worried for her health and safety, and it's not that they don't want her to ever work again, they just worry that she physically won't be able to. She hasn't commented on anything yet, and her last video was 6 days ago at the time of this recording. Oh, bless her. I was so happy. She was doing so much better. She looks like, I don't even know how someone can like stand and be. You haven't seen her?
No.
Chris, it's like you don't understand how someone can be alive and be.
It's not the same though. I haven't seen it though.
This is crazy. Coming into number 8, we have Hailey Bieber. You might know her as Hailey Baldwin, the famous model who went on to marry Justin Bieber. The 24-year-old recently took some heat online after a girl accused her of being a bully in middle school. Very random. A girl posted a TikTok video captioned, "I'm sure she's a nice person now, right? #bulletproof." In the TikTok video, she wrote, "Think you can hurt me? Hailey Baldwin Bieber was my middle school bully." At first, people started accusing her of lying and even threatened a lawsuit against her for defamation. But then, some people started questioning if it was true, and if it is, why is she not apologizing for it? Hailey did not comment on the TikTok claim, so we won't really know the truth behind it. Personally, I think her career will be just fine if people don't assume that this TikTok is true, but people online will argue that fans won't forgive her for allegedly being a bully. People take that very seriously, because it is. Cruising into number 7 is James Corden. His fellow talk show host Ellen DeGeneres has been under investigation after people claimed her show did not treat their employees properly. Things have gotten so bad that people thought her show might get cancelled. But another rumor that went around was that James Corden was going to replace her. It all came after The Sun reported that he was in line to replace her. Literally, like I thought this was a thing. Some fans were excited at the idea, but the majority of people were furious and started tweeting out saying that he is worse than Ellen and called him problematic. People started filling Twitter with comments about times that they went to James's show and found him to be very disrespectful and rude. People have been calling him a horrible person, but they don't have to fear any longer because he will not be replacing Ellen. She recently announced the return of her show, which she will continue to host. I didn't know James had any issues. I actually liked James. I thought he was really funny all the time. I didn't know that people felt this way. Making her way into number 6 is Kylie Jenner. Controversy always follows her around, but this time people are not taking it lightly. She started posting photos of herself in Paris, and people were furious, seeing as Paris is closed off to Americans right now due to the COVID-19 pandemic. People began lashing out at her, saying how unfair and insensitive it is for her to travel there with a group of friends while the rest of the world can't travel and cannot visit their loved ones. A source came to her defense, saying she was able to enter the country on a business exemption because she had business meetings with a cosmetics company. Apparently, she only brought friends with her to make a little trip out of it, which people said was very irresponsible and insensitive. It was also just announced that her reality show, Keeping Up with the Kardashians, is cancelled. So people are wondering how far her career will go without the reality TV. Who really knows, actually? I don't know what's gonna happen to any of them at this point. Halfway through at number 5, we have Tana Mongeau. The YouTuber has been quiet for months now after facing accusations for being racist towards fellow creators. She didn't post any videos to her YouTube for months, and she didn't address the accusations that came to surface. But recently, she posted an apology video which was titled, "A Long Overdue Apology." People thought this might be a genuine video where she takes accountability for some of her actions, but instead it just did more damage to her career. Her video was very choppy, with her sentences being cut short and edited together with other ones. It did come across very strange. I watched it. Fans started calling her a robot and said it didn't seem like she cared at all. They even claimed she had been reading from a script. But Tana responded and said she was just trying not to cry in the video, because if she did, then people would be mad at her for crying and playing the victim. Honestly, I feel like she meant her apology, but maybe the delivery wasn't the best or what people wanted from her. Sniping the number 4 spot is Danielle Kahn. She is the youngest one on our list, but we don't actually know her real age because that was one of the biggest controversies in 2019. The 14-year-old rose to fame online at a very young age, but people said she was lying for claiming to be 15. Her whole family even got involved, with her dad releasing her birth certificate to show that she was actually 14. Regardless of her age, she has done a few things throughout her online career that has caused a lot of controversy. One of them happened recently after she posted a photo to Instagram where people started to claim that she was blackfishing. When comparing her recent look to other photos of herself, she does look like a completely different person, and some people are taking this as rape, which probably was not her intention, but I will let you guys be the judge. In our 3rd spot is Adele. The singer has recently been ridiculed for honestly one of the strangest reasons. People are attacking her for losing a bunch of weight. Not an unhealthy amount though, honestly, she looks great. But people have had their opinion about it, and more recently she got ripped apart for one of her Instagram photos. She posted a photo of herself in a bikini top that has the Jamaican flag on it, and her hair is done in Bantu knots. However, after she posted it, people started coming after her in the comments, accusing her of cultural appropriation. One person tweeted, "If you haven't quite understood cultural appropriation, look at Adele's latest Instagram post. She should go to jail, no parole for this." A little dramatic. Some fellow celebrities came to her defense, while others said that Bantu knots should not be worn by white people no matter what the context is. At the time of the photo, Adele was actually at the Notting Hill Carnival, so like she was kind of dressed up for a reason. She wasn't just doing that for like no reason at all. But people are pissed. And spot number 2 is Bryce Hall. The 21-year-old rose to fame after becoming one of the biggest TikTok stars on the platform. But even though he is young and some would say his career is just starting, he has caused a ton of controversy in the short period of his fame. He's faced racist accusations, homophobic accusations, and most recently, transphobia allegations. All 3 are things that you never want to be identified with. A Twitter user posted a shocking tweet where they tagged Bryce and said, "Babe, you kicked my 2 friends and I out of a party because 2 of us are proudly trans and our other friend was a black female." Rather than an explanation or an apology, he simply tweeted, "Cancel culture looking for their next victim." He didn't address the allegations at all, but instead just ignored them, and people are not happy about it. Winning our number 1 place is Jake Paul. Even if you aren't invested in the YouTube community, you may have heard his name or seen articles about him regarding an FBI investigation that happened at his home. It came after he was posting videos from a looting riot at Scottsdale Fashion Mall back in May during the Black Lives Matter protests. It was said that he was involved and he did not listen to police when they told him to leave. He ended up being arrested and charged, and then the FBI got a warrant to do this massive search on his home. This is when video footage and photos from the raid showed that they found firearms inside of his house. Fans had tons of questions, but also a ton of disappointment. Jake still claims that he did not take part in the looting at the mall, but did not comment about the firearms due to legal obligations. It's hard to believe that his career will ever be the same after something like this, but who knows. Kicking off this countdown at number 10 is Tory Lanez. The rapper was exposed recently for a serious incident that he blames on too much alcohol. A story recently surfaced about the time that he shot Megan Thee Stallion. Yes, you heard that right, he shot her. It was the night of July 12th that he opened gunfire and shot her in the foot, and then texted her an apology that night when she was in the hospital. The only excuse he has for the violence is that he got too drunk. The police were called after witnesses heard shots fired around an SUV. Footage was leaked online showing Tory, Megan, and one of her friends all exiting the car, Megan limping with her foot literally dripping in blood. Tory ended up being arrested for possession possession of a concealed weapon. It was a handgun that was found under his seat. Megan even posted the gruesome photos to her Instagram where she explained that the bullet hit the back of her foot because she was walking away when the shots were fired. She had to get stitches, but thankfully she's able to use her foot again. Saw the pictures. Can't show them obviously, but that's all I have to say to that. It was disgusting. Sniping the number 9 spot is Offset. He made headlines in the past for cheating on Cardi B, but despite knowing this, she decided to work things out with him and give him another chance, even getting married and starting a family. After the cheating scandal, she told Vogue that she would not tolerate him cheating on her ever again, and it seems like she might be sticking to her word. Just a few days ago, news broke that she filed for divorce after 3 years of marriage. Sources have come forward saying that Cardi found out he was cheating on her again, and she had enough of it this time. One source said he has been pleading with her that he hasn't cheated, but many girls have come forward with claims. She had enough and decided to file. Cardi wants to be a good example for her daughter and women out there. People were forgiving of him the first time because like Cardi was, but they probably won't forgive him this time, especially if Cardi won't, which I hope she won't. Fool me once, shame on you. Fool me twice, shame on me. And that's a fact. Period. Up next, number 8 is Lori Loughlin. The actress was caught in a college admission scandal after she and her husband paid to have their daughter's test results altered in hopes that they could skip the college application process. In court, she admitted to paying $500,000 to the mastermind behind the scam, William Rick Singer, to get her daughters into the University of Southern California. She did take responsibility for her actions after people attacked her online for trying to cheat their way in. At the end of the trial, she was sentenced to 2 months in federal prison and will serve 2 years of supervised release, where she must perform 100 hours of community service. And she will also pay a fine of $150,000. Her husband was sentenced to 5 months in prison with a $250,000 fine. I'm not sure why or how that works, but okay. They both have to surrender to the US Bureau of Prisons by 2 p.m. on November 19th. Like what? Just have your kids write the test like everyone else in this world. What were you thinking? This was so not worth it. Because not only were her kids not go to school now, you in prison. In spot number 7 is Matt Lauer. The Today Show co-anchor lost everything he had back in 2017 when he was fired from the show. NBC News had to face a ton of horrific allegations that he had another colleague in that workplace. When the allegations first started coming out, Matt released a letter by his lawyer denying any wrongdoing and said every encounter was consensual. That is what they all say. NBC took the allegations very seriously and issued a statement saying, Matt Lauer's conduct was appalling, horrific, and reprehensible, as we said at the time. That's why he was fired within 24 hours of us first learning of the complaint. Our hearts break again for our colleague. However, he did not face any charges when all was said and done, and ever since then he's just been keeping a very low profile since he lost his position on the show, and will not get another one. Cruising into number 6 is Tati Westbrook. It's hard to say where her career will go from here. Even after all her drama with James Charles last year, she was able to keep a low profile and have a successful beauty brand, so we really don't know. If you missed all the drama, last year she posted a video on her YouTube called Bye Sister, where she talked for 40 minutes accusing James of horrible things. She was initially upset that he did a brand deal with Sugar Bear Hair, which is a direct competition to her beauty line, which he knew since they were very close friends. In her video though, she made very serious claims that he used his fame to manipulate other people's sexuality and said that he was a bad example for his followers. It was incredibly damaging to his career and he lost millions of subscribers within 1 day. But then, after a year of being silent, she posted an updated video recently where she blamed Shane Dawson and Jeffree Star for the whole thing, saying that they told her those things about James and pressured her into making a video. People were furious that she was putting the blame on someone else, especially seeing as she is 38 years old and James is 21. Like, how is there even drama there? You're like double his age. I don't get it. We've made it halfway through. At number 5, we have Harry Jowsey. He rose to fame this year after he starred on the Netflix show Too Hot to Handle. He and his fling from the show, Francesca Ferrego, skyrocketed into fame after the show aired and people fell in love with them as a couple. I loved them. They were so cute. They were one of the few couples who left the show and still tried to pursue a relationship, and fans were very invested that they were gonna make it work. But then news broke that they had split up, and Francesca posted a YouTube video where she confirmed that he was unfaithful and had cheated on her. Obviously, all of their fans quickly turned against him and his fame just kind of started to fade out. He is still trying to gain traction online on his social media pages, but Francesca is doing just fine. She's out living this Hollywood life now, and she has recently become good friends with YouTuber Tana Mongeau. Coming in hot at number 4 is Kevin Hunter. You never want to piss off your wife, especially when she is your boss. If you don't know who Kevin is, he is married to Wendy Williams, the leading lady and creator of The Wendy Williams Show. He worked alongside his wife for years as both an executive producer and also her manager, but was fired in April 2019 after it surfaced that he had cheated on her. But this was not just like some drunken night mistake or a one-time thing. Turns out he had a full-blown relationship with another woman named Sharina Hudson for 15 years. And the two of them even had a kid together. For obvious reasons, there's no way in hell Wendy was going to allow him to work on her show any longer. He was fired pretty much immediately and his reputation took a massive hit. They do share a son together though, and they have come to a civil term so that they can co-parent together. Can you imagine? Oh yeah, I've actually had 2 relationships, 15 years, and I have a kid. Okay, how do you hide that is what I want to know. In our 3rd spot is Joe Exotic. The former zookeeper rose to fame after he was the subject of the hit Netflix docuseries called Tiger King: Murder, Mayhem, and Madness. But his fame can only go so far because by the time the documentary came out, he was already locked behind bars. He was sentenced to 22 years in prison for being involved in a murder-for-hire plot against his rival, Carol Baskin. He hired someone and intended on paying them $3,000 to kill her. I feel like that is not enough money. After he was sentenced, an investigation was done on his zoo and it was confirmed that he had shot and killed 5 innocent tigers as well as a horse which he used as meat to feed his tigers. Joe is sticking to his innocence though and even wrote a letter to President Donald Trump requesting pardon. Boy, we got way too much going on in this world right now. Taking over number 2 is Bill Cosby. If you followed his trial, then you would quickly understand why he genuinely will never work again. The iconic actor lost everything when he was accused of and misconduct by more than 50 people. The allegations surfaced in 2014 when he was accused of that took place in the mid-1960s. He has been accused by different women for very disturbing things, and all the alleged incidents spanned from 1965 to 2008 in the US and 1 case in Canada. He battled the allegations for years, and some people even thought he might walk away clean because of his celebrity status. But he was first found guilty on April 26, 2018 for 3 counts of aggravated assault. Then on September 25th, 2018, he was sentenced to 3 to 10 years in state prison. And seeing as he is 83 years old right now, I don't think when he gets out, when he's like 90 years old, that he's gonna be auditioning for any role. Safe to say he's not gonna work again. Earning the number 1 place on our list is Kanye West. He is a tough topic of conversation right now because it is clear that he is suffering from some mental health issues right now, and I never want to come off as insensitive to that. But because of his erratic actions these days, his career is going to have huge ramifications. Yesterday, he did the unthinkable and tweeted out a video of himself urinating on one of his Grammy Awards. He was on a rant about the music industry and even tweeted out photos of his music contract, which is illegal because they are very confidential documents. On top of that, he even tweeted out Forbes' phone number, who is the editor of Forbes, and called him a white supremacist. Twitter ended up banning his account for 12 hours, and we are still waiting to see what kind of damage this is going to do, but it is not going to be pretty. I don't know how you come back from this. It's just getting worse and worse with him.
At number 10, Armie Hammer. Ever since his dramatic DM scandal, things haven't been looking too great for actor Armie Hammer. Back in January, some of Armie's private messages with other women came to light, depicting the actor in a not so flattering way. The messages leaked by the Instagram page House of Effie exposed the actor for his bedroom fantasies, among other things, and this created a snowball effect of people coming forward with their own allegations of misconduct against the actor. An investigation was later launched into some of the claims made by some of Armie's alleged victims. Since then, Armie has been losing out on a lot of work. First, he made the decision to back out of an upcoming project alongside Jennifer Lopez, and he also dropped out of a series he was cast for Paramount+. But since then, as the scandal has progressed, he started getting fired from other projects. Armie has also been dropped by his agent and personal publicist. After losing so much in such a short amount of time, it would be very surprising to see him re-emerge in the same degree that he was at before. As far as I know, he has little to no representation in Hollywood at the moment, and because this scandal is still pretty fresh in people's minds, people would most likely be hesitant to hire him over fears of bad press, so chances are he may never work in Hollywood again. At number 9, J.K. Rowling. Back in 2020, which already feels so long ago, Harry Potter author J.K. Rowling came under fire and was labeled transphobic after J.K. spoke out on a number of occasions in a way that fans interpreted as being hostile towards the trans community, especially trans women. J.K.'s tweets caused her to get cancelled online, and though these kinds of things normally blow over because she is tied to one of the most successful franchises in the world, no one is really quick to forget. This scandal had an effect on almost all aspects of her career. Her social presence was torn apart by fans, her book sales have gone down significantly since the drama began, and her business ties to the entertainment industry have also been in jeopardy. Companies like HBO and Universal have had to speak out against JK, assuring their customers that they don't support her views, and because of that, the author might have a hard time progressing in the entertainment industry. When a company like HBO has to do damage control like that, it's not a good look for them or the other parties, so this could certainly hold her back from getting further in Hollywood. At number 8, Marilyn Manson. The world once saw singer Marilyn Manson as just a performer, but now we're seeing him in a very different light after he was exposed for having hurt a number of his former partners. The one who came forward first and started it all was actress Evan Rachel Wood, who posted to her Instagram calling Marilyn out for hurting her while they were together. In her statement, Evan cited how manipulative Marilyn was and even brought up how he brainwashed her and caused her so much pain while they were together. On top of this, other people started coming forward with their own horror stories of the singer, including Game of Thrones actress Esme Bianco, who came forward with such horrible encounters she had with Manson. Following the scandal, Manson was dropped from his music label, and the LA County Sheriff's Department began an investigation looking into some of the allegations against the singer. Because of the severity of the scandal, I don't think we'll be hearing much from Manson anytime soon, especially since he's been dropped by his label and will certainly have a hard time getting signed to another one. At number 7, James Corden. James Corden has recently found himself facing quite a lot of backlash for his Spill Your Guts or Fill Your Guts segment from his late night talk show. Basically, the premise of this segment is to get celebrities on, and they have to answer a pretty personal question honestly, and if they don't, they have to eat something gross. It seems all fine in theory, but people have noticed that many of the gross foods just so happen to be Asian dishes. Fans have been calling for James to take accountability for his actions and for calling these foods disgusting. There has even been a petition going around calling for the Fill Your Guts segment to be cut from the show because of its effect on the Asian community and how hurtful these comments have been to them. Now, I will admit this isn't the most serious scandal ever, but fans are calling for changes to be made on the show, and it could affect the very foundation of it on other levels and could lead to James losing everything. And with the scandal on his back, you never know if he will recover from it or not. At number 6, Sharon Osbourne. Talk show host Sharon Osbourne found herself in some hot water earlier this year after she made some comments about Meghan Markle and Prince Harry that not only caused her to get backlash, but also lose her job as one of the hosts on the daytime talk show The View. Basically, this all started when Sharon Osbourne and Cheryl Underwood got into a heated argument surrounding Piers Morgan's remarks about Meghan Markle. During this feud, Sharon backed up the comments Piers made about Meghan's mental health, and this frustrated Cheryl because she didn't like the way the whole situation was being handled and how disrespectful those comments were. The two got into a very heated debate that ended with a lot of drama, sparking a conversation about Sharon's ideals. She was later exposed for other comments she made in the past and was called a racist. As well, a number of accusations came out about how she's used various slurs in the past when talking about her other co-hosts. As a result, the network for their show launched an internal investigation that ended with Sharon being let go from the show. Since Sharon had been a part of the show for so long, this became her whole career, and so now that it's gone, Sharon needs to find another outlet for her commentary. And following the scandal, she might be hard-pressed to find that avenue. At number 5, James Charles. James Charles is probably one YouTuber who faces the most backlash and cancellations, and unfortunately is usually for the same issue every time. Lately, James has been getting into more serious drama when it comes to his fans, and things are getting so serious, in fact, that it could end his career. James has been faced with allegations of having inappropriate relationships with fans under the age of 18 over the past few years, but this year alone he's faced numerous allegations of inappropriate relationships. But not only that, but he's also been caught in the middle of a lawsuit with his former creative director. His former employee is suing James on the grounds of wrongful termination, among other things, and they're also exposing James for his poor treatment of his employees as well as his own questionable actions. As a result of the allegations against him, as well as the bad press that he's been receiving due to the legal battle that he's in, James has lost his hosting job of a makeup web series, Morphe Cosmetics has dropped him and his collaboration, and his channel has also been demonetized. James seems to be getting exposed for all kinds of things from all sides, and because his career is suffering as a result, we may see him fall from grace, and he might not return to the spotlight the same way. At number 4, Winston Marshall. Not too long ago, there was a bit of a scandal in the world of music when Winston Marshall, one of the members of Mumford & Sons, came under fire for backing and supporting a book that was seen as offensive by many fans. The book in question, unmasked inside Antifa's radical plan to destroy democracy, is said to, quote, condemn the destructive rise of Antifa. When Winston took to social media to voice his support for the material, his views were seen as offensive, and as a result it caused a clash within the band and as well with his supporters. The band later called a meeting and decided that Winston would be taking a leave of absence to, quote, examine his blind spots, but now it's been decided that Winston will not be returning to the band. In a statement announcing to fans that he has permanently left the group, Winston said, quote, I now know that as long as I'm a member of the band, speaking my mind on the evils of political extremism could bring them trouble. My loyalty and love for them cannot permit that. However, to remain in a band and self-censor will gnaw at my conscience, erode my integrity. By leaving, I hope to speak freely without them suffering the consequences, end quote. Since he's left the group, he may find himself on a very different path and could probably see himself fading out of the spotlight, never to make a return again. At number 3, Sia. Grammy winner Sia has faced some pretty serious backlash recently because of her feature film music starring Maddie Ziegler. The film is about a young nonverbal girl on the autism spectrum, and a lot of people, especially those in the autism community, have had a lot of negative things to say about the film and its content. The autism community has taken offense to the movie, with their biggest complaint being the fact that the lead role wasn't given to someone on the autism spectrum. The role instead went to Maddie Ziegler, who's worked closely with Sia for many years. Other than the backlash that came with the casting choice, Sia also faced scrutiny for the portrayal of a type of restraint in the film that is known as very dangerous and is seen as very negative and triggering to many people in the autism community. People found that the film glorified the portrayal of the autism spectrum, and though Sia has issued a number of apologies, it seemed like things were just getting worse for her. The backlash became so bad at one point that the singer deleted her social media accounts, and even though this film was nominated for awards, the backlash that the film received could halt any future plans to get back into the film industry, and so she may never work in film again. At number 2, Ellen DeGeneres. In 2020, Ellen DeGeneres essentially ruined her career, and since then, things have gone downhill. We watched the comedian and talk show host fall from grace as allegation after allegation came out, painting Ellen as a nightmare to work with, among other things. She also faced backlash from things like the treatment of her staff, her comments about lockdown, and the Black Lives Matter movement. She lost a lot of credibility and respect in the industry as well, and her show lost a lot of ratings and advertisers. Ellen recently announced that her show would be ending as well, so this long-running avenue for her commentary and comedy is also coming to an end, and with her reputation in Hollywood exposed, it's hard to say whether or not she will be able to grab onto something else in Hollywood. And finally, at number 1, Kanye West. I think that we can all agree that Kanye West is a pretty outspoken guy. He tends to speak his mind unapologetically, and while some people really appreciate that realness, others may not. For example, his VMA incident when he just had to tell everyone that Beyonce was better. She kind of was, but that's not the point. I think a better and more recent example of this is when he posted a video of him peeing on his Grammy Award as a sort of FU to the industry. Now, some people may see that as bold, while others may not. But maybe after this behavior, the people behind the Grammy Awards will think twice about Kanye because of the things that he's said about them. I feel like you always have to be really careful about who you anger in your industry, because one wrong move can cost you everything. So we might not know for sure if Kanye is done for, but he might be close to losing it all. Now, I want you guys to tell me down in the comments if you think that any of these celebrities will really lose everything. When it comes to getting canceled and facing backlash, I found that these things don't always stick, so which of the celebrities I mentioned do you think we may never hear from again?